Husband, 24 male, is withholding my, 23 female, sexual satisfaction until I lose weight. Husband, 24 male, and I, 23 female, have been married for about 9 months after dating for 2 years. We waited until marriage for sex, mostly due to his religious beliefs. We were both excited for our honeymoon, but unfortunately, things took a turn when he ended up unhappy with how I looked naked. We did manage to consummate the marriage, but it was clear he wasn't really into it. Now, keep in mind, I am 5'6", and at the time was 135 pounds. A very healthy weight. However, although I was not medically overweight, he said my stomach and thighs were too chunky and requested I lose 20 pounds before we have intercourse again. I tend to wear very flattering clothes, so I guess my issues weren't noticeable when dressed. In the meantime, he has been requesting oral pretty much every day with, of course, no reciprocity of any kind or even affection. Since then, I've been working so hard to lose weight, but have only lost 15 to 20 pounds. I'm down 2 clothing sizes and in the best shape of my life, but my husband still isn't happy enough with my appearance and accuses me of not trying hard enough. In the meantime, I'm hungry and grumpy from losing weight. I didn't need to lose weight from a health perspective. If not for my husband, I would much rather be at my previous healthy weight and be able to enjoy a burger or a cupcake now and then. I'm afraid I'm falling out of love with him after being treated this way. I know no marriage is perfect, but it's so heartbreaking to be treated like an object that is never quite pretty or shapely enough. And if it's like this, less than a year in, it's probably not going to get better, right? I'm just so embarrassed that my marriage is reduced to this and don't know how to tell my family and friends. But also, I feel like I'm fading away and losing myself to expectations I can never really meet. Am I the asshole for watching and doing nothing to help my husband when he was extremely ill? My 27 female husband, Tim, 36 male, has a serious dairy allergy. I'm talking about an actual immune system reaction, not intolerance. His allergy is serious enough to cause acute enterocolitis, but he hasn't needed an EpiPen since he was a kid. I work full-time and also have some seasonal work this holiday season because Tim has been without work and money has been very tight. As a result, I barely get to rest. The holidays are especially hard, and I found myself getting just 1 day off every 2 weeks for almost 2 months straight. As you can imagine, that day off means the universe to me. Now, Tim loves dairy and will sometimes intentionally eat things which trigger his allergy. Lately, it's gotten out of hand, with him going from one risky meal every 4 to 6 months to every 2 or so weeks. In fact, it always seemed to coincidentally line up with my time off, and I found myself spending my 1 day taking care of him. Last week, I finally asked him if he was intentionally timing it to line up with my day off. I fully expected him to say no, but he admitted that he was doing it to make sure that he'd have a nurse, and so he'd have someone close by in case he had an especially adverse reaction and needed a hospital. I was livid and told him that he was selfish, robbing me of my rest. I said that if he made himself sick again, I wouldn't take care of him. I'm exhausted and I need to decompress. He didn't say much, so I thought he'd heard me. Fast forward to Friday night. I get home from work, and a few minutes in, Tim gets a pizza delivered. I ask him why when I'm making dinner, and he shrugs. I ask if a large garlic Alfredo pizza is worth the pain, and remind him that I won't be giving up my rest day again. He smirks and eats an entire slice while grinning at me. I left it at that and went back to my dinner. Predictably, he got sick, profusely vomiting, retching, and groaning from the intense cramping and diarrhea. I slept in the guest room to get away from the sound and smell. He called for me several times, and I repeatedly told him no. Hours later, he was still sick and woke me up at the crack of dawn to go get him Pedialyte and meds because he was so dehydrated and still in pain. I told him to order it in and asked him to get out and let me sleep. He was still whimpering when I eventually got up to shower and eat. Again, I did nothing to help or comfort him. By evening, he was sulking, and by morning, when I had to go to work, he was enraged. He yelled, and by the end of the day, he told our friends and family that he nearly died, and I neglected him. His family accused me of passively trying to kill him. His mom called, shouting that he could have had a life-threatening reaction due to my petty actions, and that I'm a shit wife for not minding his health. I'm starting to feel guilty because she's right, and he could have been seriously hurt.
Am I the a-hole for selling my PS5 rather than sharing it with my stepbrothers? My 15-male mom and dad met and briefly dated while they were both studying at uni. My mom gave birth to me after they had broken up and had sued my dad for child support. I was raised by my mom. It had virtually nothing to do with my dad throughout my childhood. My mom was an international student, and her family cut ties with her due to the circumstances of my birth. Tragically, 2 years ago, I lost my mom to cancer, and thus I was placed under the care of my dad. My dad is remarried and has 2 sons, 5 and 7, with his wife. It wasn't a bad arrangement at first, but we were all essentially strangers. I was given a bedroom to myself and we shared some meals, but other than that, kept to myself. About 10 months ago, I was lucky enough to score a casual job at an aged care facility as IT support. It was stupid easy money as it involves installing and maintaining a dozen or so common PCs, used by the residents, plus running basic computing workshops. I ended up accruing a whole lot of disposable income in a short time. Stupidly, instead of just keeping quiet about it, I decked out my room with a new TV, headphone, and a PS5. Obviously, the setup was of great interest to my 2 stepbrothers. Initially, my rule was that they could play the PS5 anytime I wasn't using it, but I would get first dibs if I wanted to play or use my TV. I was also super accommodating by buying an extra controller, which I didn't need, and several kid-friendly games that they wanted to play. I eventually had to change the rule to only play when I was there, because the 5-year-old destroyed one of my controllers through spilling juice on it. This is where the drama started. They whined to my parents, who then ordered me to place the PS5 in the living room. I refused, stating that I had purchased it with my own money. This led to their argument that I have too much money and should contribute rent, utilities, and food money. I called their bluff and said, sure, drop a contract and I'll get a lawyer to review it to ensure it complies with the Family Law Act. My dad then told the boys that he was going to buy a separate PS5 for the boys for Christmas, but the dude is clueless about the global shortage. Finally, last night, after realizing that he had zero chance of buying one for close to recommended retail price, my dad threatened me to either voluntarily gift my PS5 to the boys for Christmas, or he would toss it in the bin while I was at school. I was so pissed that I went on Facebook Marketplace and sold a PS5. The boys found out today and were devastated. I feel really bad because they shouldn't be punished for this crap show. My parents are in their room talking about me, but I'm sitting here in my room. Am I the a-hole? How could I have handled this better?
Am I the asshole for using a diamond from my girlfriend's family heirloom for her engagement ring? My girlfriend, 22 female, and I, 24 male, have been together for about 3 years, and I decided around 5 months ago that I wanted to propose. We share a dog and a home, so it seemed the next logical step. She's hugely into jewelry, so I wanted to get her a really sentimental ring. At the end of September, her grandma suddenly passed away, and as my girlfriend was the only granddaughter, she was passed down her wedding ring. Her and her grandma were extremely close, so I decided to ask her mom, her grandma was her dad's mom, if she thought it'd be a good idea for me to use one of the diamonds in the ring for my girlfriend's engagement ring. She told me that as much as she loved the idea, she didn't know if my girlfriend would, and so told me to think about it. I couldn't find anything else I liked as much. My girlfriend didn't wear the ring as she was worried about losing it, so kept it in a box in a drawer, making it easy for me to take it without her realizing. It ended up being a beautiful ring, and I thought she'd absolutely love the sentiment of it. Well, I proposed. She said yes immediately and was absolutely elated until she saw the ring. She told me I'd practically vandalized and ruined the only meaningful thing of her grandmother's that she had, and that I should have asked. I went to her mom for support, but she just kept saying she warned me that my girlfriend might not like the idea. She said yes to my proposal, but refuses to wear the ring, which I just think is disrespectful considering how much money and thought went into it. Am I the asshole?
Me, 28 male, with my wife, 27 female, 5 years together. I cheated a long time ago, and the other woman sent me a letter. What should I do with it? Yeah, I cheated. I regret it probably more than anything because of how bad it hurt my wife. It happened 3 years ago. I met another woman. It was during a time when me and my wife were in a bad place. I slept with the other woman 2 times. I couldn't lie to my wife and just told her what happened. We ended up finding a few weeks later that she was pregnant, so I decided to try hard and to be a better husband. We're in a good place now. She doesn't trust me fully yet, which I know will take years or never happen. She has access to all my devices so she can look whenever she wants, no problem. So here's the thing. When I got the mail today, the other woman sent me a letter. I haven't opened it and don't know what to do. Should I give it to my wife or just throw it away? Should I read it and show my wife, or read it together, or what? I don't know how to proceed and could use some help here on what to do.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.